Hello and welcome. Today's lesson is going to be about points, lines, segments, rays, and planes. The objectives today is to sketch, name, and label points, lines, and planes, to identify and describe intersecting lines and planes. So first of all, we're going to start with some definitions. Collinear points. Collinear points are points that lie on the same line. And non-collinear points are points that do not lie on the same line. So for example, right here, I have points A and B. They are on the same line, so they are collinear. Notice on this drawing here, A, B, C are collinear. Now A, B, D is not collinear because they are not on the same line. Okay, same goes to C, D, G. They are not on the same line. They are non-collinear. Okay, collinear means on the same line. Okay, all right. In geometry, we say points, lines, and planes are considered undefined terms. So if anybody asks you, what are the undefined terms of geometry? They are points, lines, and planes. And the reason why is because they are only explained using examples and descriptions. That means there's not a formal definition. Okay, now let's learn how to label points, lines, line segments, etc. Okay, so here's a point. In geometry, we label points with capital letters. So this would be point A. Now a line usually is drawing like this with an arrow on both ends, and usually you use 2 points to name a line. So here we have line AB, and if you notice I have a little arrow on top. I could also call this line BA. It doesn't matter the order of the letters. Okay, you may also, instead of putting the little arrow on the top, you can just say line AB and you don't need to draw the arrow. Okay, or you can call it line BA. Oftentimes too, they're going to label a line using a letter in italics, like here, this would be line M. So there are multiple ways to name a line, and here we see all the different ways. Now we have a plane. A plane is like a piece of paper, okay, or a field. Okay, and here we see that we have a couple lines, line BD and line AB, or you can call it AC, okay, or BC. Remember, all you need to label a line is 2 points on the line, and that's how you can name it. So basically here we have this plane, this piece of paper, and there's these 2 lines that are laying on the plane, okay? We also have a point G on the plane. So oftentimes, to name a plane, they put a little R in capital letter, and is in italics, okay? Or it could be a letter P or letter Q. Whatever letter it is in italics and is capital letter, okay? Notice the difference between a line. A line is in italics but is lowercase, and a plane is capital letter. So in order to name a plane, you need 3 non-collinear points. Like I said, you can call it plane R, but you may also call it plane ABD, or DBA, or ABG, or BDG. Okay, so any 3 points that do not form a line that is on the plane can be used to name the plane. Now, one important rule is you cannot name this plane using any combination of A, B, C. Why not? Because they are collinear. In order to name a plane, you can use 3 points, but they cannot be on the same line. So A, B, D, these are 3 letters you can use. A, B, G, 3 letters you can use. Okay, C, D, G, you can use because none of them form a straight line. But when we talk about A, B, C here, they're on the same line, and you cannot name this plane using these three letters, okay? So thing to remember, in order to label a plane using 3 points, you need to make sure the points are non-collinear. They're not on the same line, okay? All right, so we talk about points, we talk about lines, we talk about planes. Now let's talk about the segment of a line. Okay, so we talk about a line where there's an arrow on both ends. A segment has what we call endpoints. That means it starts here and ends here. Okay, so it doesn't go forever. Okay, so you may call this segment AB or segment BA. Doesn't matter the order. Okay, AB or BA is the same segment. Now, if you don't want to write the word segment, you can also use this symbol, a little segment on top of AB or BA. Notice the difference. Here we have arrows on both ends for lines. For segments, there's no little arrow. So there's a difference. These symbols in mathematics, when we look at them, we know automatically that this is going to be a segment of a line. And this here is a line because it has the two arrows. The last one is a ray, and I forgot to put there, so would you please write on your paper. These are rays, okay? And rays is just like the sun. Imagine here's the sun, and here's the ray of the sun that is coming out of the sun and is touching the earth and is going to the universe, okay? So on a ray, the interesting thing is that you have a starting point and you have another point that you go through them. So when you name a ray, you need to find out which one is the end point. In this case is C. So that means the letter C is going to be the first letter that you're going to use when you write. Okay, so this would be CD, starts at C and goes through D. For that reason, you cannot write DC because that's telling us that it starts at D and goes through C. So basically, you would start over here and you go that direction. So it would be a different ray. Okay, so rays is the one that you need to watch out for the order of the letters. So we talk about points, lines, planes, segment of a line, and rays. Okay, now let's look at intersections. Okay, what is an intersection? That means when something touches another or runs into another. So the intersection of two or more geometric figures is the set of points that they have in common. So right here I have two lines and they intersect. They intersect at this point. Okay, right here I have two planes and these two planes are intersecting right here at this line R. So line R represents the intersections of plane A and B. Okay, so a lot of times in geometry you'll be asked to identify the intersections of the geometric terms that they might give you. Okay, so here's an example. Using the drawing on the right, answer the following question. Name the intersection of PQ, so here we have PQ, and line K. So here's line K. So we have PQ and line K. Well, these two lines intersect right here at this point. So this would be point M. So let me write it over there. All right. Next one says, name the intersection of line K and plane A. So line K is right here. And this is the plane A. That's the piece of paper right there. So you have this plane right there, plane A, and the line. Well, they touch each other right here on the line. So then we write line K. Next one is name the intersection of plane A with plane B. Well, plane B is this other piece of paper here. Okay, this is the paper. And please notice right here we have some dashed lines. This dashed lines means is that this is what is called hidden lines. And basically this is a three-dimensional drawing, and basically if we were to see these two planes intersect, you wouldn't be able to see this line right here, but you know it's there. Okay, so that's not visible, okay, because this is behind this piece of paper. Okay, that's what that means. But in any way, here we have this piece of paper and this other one, and they are intersecting. They're touching each other right here at this line. So this will be line K as well. All right. So as you see, we are identifying the intersection of the different geometric figures intersect. Using the drawing on the right, answer the following questions. Okay. Segment WX. So here we have WX. And segment ZR. ZR. Okay. And the question is, are they coplanar? Are they on the same plane? Okay, that's one thing we didn't talk about, so let's talk about it right here. Here we have a plane, and we can say that this line AC and BD are coplanar. That means they are on the same plane. Okay, they're on the same piece of paper. Well, let's go back here. This line and this line, are they on the same plane? No. This line here is touching this plane as well. Okay, but this one is not touching the plane that this one is touching, so they are not coplanar. Okay. The other question is, are they parallel? Well, if they were parallel, they would be like this. Okay, and basically these two lines are not parallel. Are they perpendicular? Perpendicular means that they would be touching and forming a 90-degree angle. So they are not touching, so okay, they are not perpendicular. And then we have skew. Skew means they are not touching each other and they are not parallel. So if you notice right here, they are not touching each other. So that means this would be skew. So in this exercise, we learn a few definitions here. We talk about parallel lines. So parallel lines is lines that don't touch each other and they're facing the same direction. Okay. We talk about coplanar. That means they're touching the same plane. And skew lines are two lines that do not touch, but they're not parallel. So in this case, they're not parallel and they're not touching. Okay. All right. Next one. Let's erase here some of the things I drew, and let's analyze YZ. We have YZ, and we have QT. Okay. All right. So are they skew? Well, if you notice right here, these two lines are facing the same directions and they don't touch. Okay, so that means they're not skew. Okay, but they will be parallel because notice they're not touching and they're facing the same direction. So they're parallel. And obviously they're not perpendicular and they're not intersecting. So right there we have looked at some examples of definitions in geometric terms that are very important for you to know, and how to label things. Okay, your job now will be to do the assignment. So the assignment is like on the next page, and you will be able to select the correct answers. Okay, many of these problems are going to be multiple choice. Sometimes some of the problems will be more than one multiple choice that applies. So like these ones are here, maybe there's one or two answers that are correct. Okay, so your job will be to do these problems. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.